Despite being best known in the UK and the US with Robot Wars and BattleBots, robot combat is very much a global sport. So today I thought it would be interesting to look at the best robot, in my opinion, from every single country. And by that I mean every country which actually has a robot combat scene. North Korea, for example, won't be on the list. So first up then for England we have Razor. Razor is one of the most famous combat robots of all time, and there's good reason for that. Not only is Razor such a unique design for a robot, especially for Robot Wars Series 2 when they debuted, they won Robot Wars Series 5 and came second in Series 6, losing controversially to Tornado in the final. Razor won about every single side competition in the book, and had the highest number of wins for any Robot Wars robot. Next up we have another UK Robot Wars champion, which is Panic Attack. Panic Attack won Robot Wars in Series 2, defying the odds to beat Cassius in the final. While it couldn't quite replicate its success in the future, Panic Attack did make numerous semi-finals afterwards, Kim Davis utilising his amazing driving skills and precision to dump many opponents down the pit, making Panic Attack not just the best Welsh machine of all time, but the best lifter of all time as well. While they're on the weaker end of Robot Wars champions for me simply because they only appeared in one series, you can't deny the fact that Typhoon 2 is one of the most destructive and damaging Robot Wars robots of all time, decimating competition such as Iron Ore in order to beat Storm 2, somewhat controversially, in the grand final. They only appeared in one series, but that series was absolutely devastating from them. For Northern Ireland, we only have Jellyfish and Weldor to choose from. I've gone with Weldor simply because it entered in more fights than Jellyfish, even though it had an abysmal record of 2 wins and 5 losses. The obvious robot for Ireland, and one of the only robots, is Deator. While they weren't super successful, their best performances was making the Heat final in Series 3 and Series 5. They did defeat Tornado in that famous pitting, and they also returned in Robot Wars Series 10, even if it was just Kadena Machina. While not the most competitive machine in the world, Deator was a clear fan favourite and a true Robot Wars all-star. For America then we have Bite Force, possibly the greatest combat robot of all time. They won BattleBots 3 times and had a staggering win-to-loss record of 26-1. They were almost unbeatable, and their one loss was a controversial judge's decision to Chomp, so Bite Force practically were unbeatable. Brazil has quite a large robot combat scene, but the best of them all is Minotaur. In their first series of BattleBots, Minotaur made the semi-finals, went one better and became runners-up in Series 3. While they couldn't quite replicate that success, they still made countless brackets, delivered some of the biggest knockouts in the show, and Daniel Freitas, in my opinion, is the best driver in the world. Minotaur is an absolutely unstoppable force and the best drum spinner of all time. Something I haven't mentioned so far is that I'm only going to be including heavyweights on this list, which means Ziggy isn't my pick for Canada. So instead, I've gone with the heavyweight version of Ziggy, which is Lucky. Lucky has appeared in BattleBots Season 2 to Season 7, and last season, Season 7, they actually had a pretty good campaign in the qualifiers, going 3-1. But better than that, Lucky has appeared in Robo Games a few times, coming 4th in 2018 and 2023. Pretty good. For Australia, we have Deathroll. Deathroll made it all the way to the semi-finals in BattleBots Season 4, taking out some of the biggest names in the game. Deathroll's weapon almost never stops spinning, and the robot itself is super durable. While they did less good in Season 7, Deathroll has proven themselves to be one of the top dogs of BattleBots. For New Zealand, we have another BattleBot in Endgame. Endgame is one of the best BattleBots of all time. They were the Season 5 champions and won both seasons of BattleBots champions. They've taken out some of the biggest names in BattleBots, like Sawblaze multiple times, Tombstone, Whiplash, etc. etc. Endgame is the perfect vertical spinner in BattleBots. They have a massive selection of forks to choose from, so they're always bottom of the ground game. It's really reliable, almost never breaks down, and Jack Barker is a fantastic driver, which makes one of the best robots on the planet. For reasons known not, the Netherlands has a huge robot combat scene. For me, the best robot is Slicer. I've kind of gone with Gravity, one of the most powerful flippers in Robot Wars. However, they lost out in the Heat final of their Dutch Wars campaign and couldn't make the final in Robot Wars Series 7. Whereas Slicer won the Dutch Wars Series 1, and due to the fact that they didn't enter the Dutch Wars Series 2, Slicer was the only Robot Wars champion to go unbeaten, with 6 wins and no losses. The greatest Russian robot of all time for me is Weber. Weber were runners-up of Battle of Robots in 2016 and Battle of Robots champions in 2017. They've made various finals since and have been ranked in the top 5 Battle of Robots machines for 5 consecutive years. Weber also appeared in Robot Wars during the Series 10 World Series Special, where they performed quite poorly of course, but they were up against 2 multi-time UK heavyweight champions in Eruption and Big Nipper, and had a head-to-head match against former Robot Wars Grand Finalist Concussion. Weber have fought in 58 battles in their career, making them super experienced as well. For China we have Iron Scrap, a robot which looks suspiciously like Minotaur. They have an impressive 19-3 record, were runners-up in Battle of Robots 2024 and champions of Battle of Robots 2023, and they've also made various finals as well. And to cap it all off, Iron Scrap have an honourable mention in the Robot Combat Hall of Fame. It's a super deadly drum spinner which has been ranked as the #1 Chinese robot for the last 3 years now. For me, the best Indian bot is Godspeed. Godspeed is a powerful drum spinner which has taken various 3rd and 2nd places in their Battle of Robots campaigns, while never actually securing a championship. Plus, they've also taken out some of the biggest names from Russia and China, like Daddy and Iron Scrap. Black Hole was a really powerful dual vertical spinner, which won the German Robot Wars. They also picked up a win in the European Championship, giving them a career result of 5 wins and only 1 loss. And finally, for South Korea, we have Orbi Blade. While not the best robot in the world by any stretch of the imagination, Orbi Blade proved itself to be a strong horizontal spinner which picked up a good few wins in BattleBots and in their King of Bots and This Is Fighting Robots campaigns. So that brings us to the end of this video then. I hope you enjoyed. Of course, I'm not an expert on every single combat robot out there, so some of these picks may have been wrong, but let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.